do the flat track on top of the road race?
Yeah, so we learned a lot with the initial flat track program this year. I learned that 4 is not enough. I really want to make sure that the women are out there like racing and like banging bars with each other. And so 4, you might have one that takes it away. So 2 of the women that were in the initial program we'll hope to continue within, and then I'll bring in an additional 6 women.
Nice.
Melissa can't carry over because she'll be managing the road racing portion. So it's not like I don't want her racing. She's going to have her hands full with the road racing portion. And then unfortunately, Andrea, our component from Canada, there's just so many variables with COVID right now. Getting her back into the States is just hard, and she hasn't been able to train. So I don't want to put her in a disadvantage. And I don't know when she'll be able to come travel back here. So I'm going to handpick an additional 6 women to carry over the flat track program. And on top of that, of course, we want to race in conjunction with American Flat Track, but I also want to support the women in their local districts. So if there's a championship or if there's, any racing that they want to do locally, I want to support that. So we'll give the women the marketing assets. We'll cover their race entries. We'll get them, teamed up with sponsors. So I had so many ideas come out of the initial program, and I learned what I was doing well, what I could do better, what I could kind of like modify. And one is more women in the sport. So many women were amped to be our alternate rider when Andrea couldn't get in the country or when Carrie got hurt. So it was really cool to see the response, and I want to fulfill that response. I want to give more women motorcycles to build and show that Royal Enfield is a inexpensive motorcycle, and it's really easy to convert into a proper flat tracker. I mean, Johnny Lewis won on it, so I think there's potential there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about expanding a dealer component of that to get the women out there with a dealer to support them for the regional or whatever the smaller series might be?
I like the way you think. So a lot of our dealers were super psyched about the program and wanted to know how they could support. So what is going to happen is when we select the women, I want to make sure that they're close to a dealer, and maybe that dealer can help them with a workshop or help them with tools and help guide them, because I'm not going to be able to be there to mentor all these women into their flat track builds. And utilizing the dealer to help with that component, it'll also get the dealers engaged and wanting to promote the women and get excited about it. So when we do identify the women for both flat track and road racing, we will identify a dealer to work with those women. And hopefully the road racing women aren't in the same area as the flat track women, so we can spread out and try to get as many dealers involved as possible.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And if there's any way we can help with that, let me know.
Oh, you know it, Robin. I'll lean on you for a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Good. It's awesome to see some of the things that they said when they first introduced it at the first press conference that I was at in Milan.
Yeah.
Things got lost in translation, but the Himalayan was introduced as the bike that conquers nothing. They meant that it did everything equally well, but that was the presentation.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you need to refine that message just a little bit, but it seems to be working.
And the Himalayan was never slated to come to the U.S. anyway. Yeah. So, Rod, Rod Copes, him and I fought tooth and nail, and finally Sid, our former CEO, relented, and I talk about this, and I don't think I've ever said it in public before, but he ended up sending Rod and I an email and saying, okay, I'm not often wrong, but like you and Bree proved me wrong, and I'm so glad that we brought the Himalayan to the U.S. It continues to be our top selling motorcycle. So many people want to get in the adventure riding segment, and they don't have the money to spend sometimes, or they're just scared. Maybe they won't like adventure riding, and they don't have like 15, 20 grand to spend on it just to try something out. So the Himalayan is filling so many voids right now, and it's not overpowered. You're not gonna, blip the throttle accidentally and go flying, to the moon, which it would be kind of cool to go to the moon, but maybe not in that circumstance. So the Himalayan's filling so many voids, and you have people that are experienced riders that have a bigger motorcycle that are buying the Himalayan to go adventure riding with. They're like, hey, I just want to, give it a try, and the Himalayan's perfect for the price point and the size of the motor. I have guys yesterday in our class that were 6'5" that were able to ride the Himalayan, and that's not adjusting the foot peg position or the seat. So anyone can ride it, and Royal Enfield's all about being fun and bringing motorcycling back to a simpler time. Just turn on the motorcycle and go. Whether it's racing, whether it's trail riding, whether it's riding on the streets or through, downtown Venice Beach.